Okay, this project looks amazing during the day or night. So, do you want to see how to create this cool, winter-inspired, sparkling, light-up window artwork step by step? Okay, so that was a mouthful. But really, guys, if you want to know how to complete the whole thing, make sure to watch this video till the end. Word of warning though, it actually took me quite a few hours to complete this artwork. Those hours were split over about 3 days. So the main reason for that was because I actually needed to leave it overnight to completely dry, to apply the next layer and so on. There are some shortcuts in the video and I will be talking about it during the tutorial as well. But just so that you know, if you are starting and things are taking longer than you thought, this video is not even 10% of the actual time that I've spent on this. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Oh, and by the way, I'm Layla and welcome to my art studio. First, let's have a look at what we'd need. You would need a frame. It doesn't matter what color it is, just make sure it's one of the recessed deep frames. A string of lights. Again, I would leave it up to you, just make sure that the wire is quite easy to bend, and some batteries to power it. Glue, white tack, sticky tape. You need those, a white and silver acrylic paint for painting, a brush as well. You would also need a craft knife of some sort for intricate cutting. Glitter, if you'd like to resemble a snow sparkle. Also some other paints like brown acrylic paints, and I'll also be using some watercolor. You might like other bits and pieces handy, like rugs for wiping, a ruler, screwdrivers, and other things. Oh, and a piece of cardboard as well. Okay, now that everything is ready, let's start. First things first, let's unpackage the frame and open it up from the back. If yours just as dusty as mine, give it a wipe. Dust can get in the way and prevent the paint from going on smoothly and sticking to the glass. Next, you'd need to cut a cardboard and a piece of paper to fit the frame. To make it easier, I'm using a mat that I found inside the frame. Make sure it fits well before you move on to the next step. Now, let's draw a sketch of what you'd like to see behind your window. I will be painting mine, but you can always just print an image or trace it if you'd like. It's entirely up to you how far you want to take your creativity. As you can see, I'm going for this snowed over village landscape look. Next, you want to cut out any areas that you'd like to glow. In my case, it's windows, the moon, and some stars. It actually took me some time to do this bit. It's very fiddly and time consuming, but don't rush it, otherwise you might have to start over if you are not precise enough. Now you can check if you've got what you want by placing your paper over the cardboard and holding it up to the light. If at this stage, if you need anything, now is your chance. If you are happy with it, make sure to mark these areas on the paper and then complete your composition with pencil. Again, you don't have to do it if you are using an existing image. Next step for me is to reserve the areas that I've traced over the cutout bits. So I'm using a masking fluid. If you're doing the same, you could always cut and stick some masking tape, or be really careful when painting and just avoid these areas altogether. but it is better to leave them reserved without any paint in the few first layers. Now it's time to create the painting itself. I'm just using watercolor. You can use acrylics, gouache, poster paint, tempera. Or as I've mentioned before, you can always just print an image that you'd like, or maybe even use an image from like a calendar or something that, again, that you like, that really suits the mood of your little window that you want to create. So in that case, you wouldn't need to worry about painting at all. Here you can see that I've started with the sky and working over it in layers. Oh, and if you'd like to see more videos and hopefully support this channel, head over to my Patreon page, where you can support this channel starting from just $2 a month. There are lots of tutorials, monthly giveaways, art games, and so much more. So make sure to head over there after this video and check it out. Okay, so here I am using liquid watercolor for a bit of extra intensity, and you can see how well it actually worked. Okay, so even though the snow is white, I'm applying a bit of blue to shade it, as my plan is to make the glowing lights the brightest spot in the landscape. Trees in just simple silhouettes. And this bit is quite important. I'm creating the lighter areas under the windows that would be naturally flooded with light. Okay, so now that the brown is dry, I'm going over it again with some liquid watercolor to create more contrast, which again will help the light in the windows look more realistic. Now that the work is dry, I'm removing the masking film to reveal clean paper. Oh, and now it's time to use warm and bright colors like yellows, oranges. Another important point is to use darker yellows for light flooded areas and the brightest yellow for the actual light source areas. And don't forget about the other parts that might be catching some reflected light. Snow is actually quite reflective, so make sure to pay attention to these little but nonetheless important things. Now painting more items on the foreground like snow, fence, and other bits and pieces. Finally, removing masking fluid from the windows. And using the brightest yellow to paint those. I'm using a little bit of orange as well because I really want to create a warm, inviting feeling to the houses. So let's work on the snow. You can use white paint, glue, and glitter. Here I am applying some glue and sprinkling the glitter over the snow areas. By the way, if you've decided to use an existing image instead of painting one, you can still add this step and apply glitter. When everything is dry, it's time to check if you like what you've done so far. You can add some darker areas, some details, like I'm doing small branches and adding a tree. You can add anything you like, really. Here's some snow on the branches as well. Don't forget about the snow on this one. Now the time has come for us to paint the frame. I'm mixing browns and black to create a more of a natural dark wood color. If the frame is too shiny, you can give it a bit of a sanding with some sandpaper. It might help with paint sticking on better as well. I'm also painting the inside of the frame with white. And sprinkling a little bit of white glitter to mimic the snow. Now I'm painting the old style window frame on the glass itself. Masking tape here is helping me to create straight lines. And I ended up doing about 4 paint layers on the glass, making sure each layer is 100% dry before applying the next one. A word of warning, it does take longer for paint to dry on the glass because it does not absorb any moisture. I've also added some white acrylic on the other side, the inside side of the glass. to create that frosted, snowed under feeling. Now I'm mixing primal. You can also use PVA glue if you don't have primal, or any other glue that dries quite transparent. Mixing it with silver and white acrylic paint. This combination works the best for frosted glass look painting. Glue in this mix provides almost a semi-transparent glazed look. And this is going onto the front of the glass. To make it glisten, sprinkle some transparent or white glitter while the paint is still wet. Carry on with all of the window sections, and when everything is dry, sweep the extra glitter away with a soft brush. I always just put it back into the container. Don't forget to glue the cardboard to the artwork. Now the time has come to set up the lights. I found it easier to do while the lights are on. Just gives you a better perspective on where the light will be coming from. You can use white tack and tape to position the lights any way you want, really. I'm putting some on the bottom of the frame. I really like the look it creates with all the frost and the glass, just so dreamy. Now the only thing that's left is to situate the other lights behind the cutout areas like windows, moon and stars. Cover the back of the frame for a tidier look and attach the switch on the outside of the frame. Ta-da! It's finished! I love how different it looks during the day and at night time. It really does create the effect of looking through the window. The thickness of the frame definitely helps to create that 3D look. You can hang it on the wall or stand it somewhere. It works well in both positions. I would do really well in the room as a night light because it's nice and dreamy and not too strong, so it won't wake you up, but does create a very cozy feel. And remember, you can create your own composition and paint anything you like to go in that frame. Let me know if you like this video by giving it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't, because there are so many cool new projects in the pipeline that I think you guys might really enjoy. As always, thanks to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. You guys are amazing. And I guess I'll see you soon. Make sure to watch more videos that are popping up right now, and see you in the next video.